The summer's record-breaking heat all across the country threatens more than our physical health, from brain fog even to anxiety to memory loss. The hot weather can weigh on us mentally, and we want to help you keep a cool head here during the heat. Joining us live is neuroscientist Dr. Caroline Leaf. Dr. Leaf, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
So much, Brian. Great to be with you.
You know, things haven't been quite as hot up here in the Pacific Northwest as they have been in other spots around the country, but start by telling us how these high temperatures can impact our brains, what's happening below the surface here.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of things going on with this terrible heat, but basically temperature drives the chemistry of the brain. And so the changes in temperature are driving the biochemistry of the brain. And why is that important? Well, they drive how the energy moves through the brain and how the neurons fire. And neurons are basically carrying messengers in the little chemicals inside the neurons. And if you get too hot, what will happen is that the neurons will fire too quickly. So the chemistry goes wrong. The neurons will fire too much or too little, or they go silent. And that combination can make you feel flat, anxious, depressed, confused, brain fog, all the things you said, aggression, irritability, concentration problems, depending on how long that you're going to these situations for. And the other thing it does is that the neurochemicals of the brain, specifically ones like serotonin, which everyone is familiar with, called the mood chemical, but also helps us with memory formation. It basically works with the temperatures of the body and the chemistry to co-regulate the thermoregulation, the heat-cold balance in the brain and the body. So when we have extended temperature, we need temperature, but the extended temperature, high temperatures, that then messes with those neurochemicals, which also contributes to mood and memory loss.
Interesting. So now, you talked about brain fog and memory loss. What can we do to help ourselves out here and prevent both of those things?
So here's a really great tip. So our brain does very well when we push it to its limits in terms of resilience. So you've all heard of people having ice baths and ice cold showers and saunas. Well, if we adopt that kind of principle, it works really well. So if it's in extreme heat, to try and do the contrast. So let's say you do 15 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes in this extreme heat, then get into your car or get inside a house and make sure that the temperature is really, really low, even if you put it up after a while. So it's almost like a sauna and then a cold bath, or a sauna and an ice cold shower, that kind of contrast. So if we can do that frequently, every sort of 15 to 30 minutes, that is very, very good for building resilience in the brain. Then other things that you can do are things like keeping your temperature from the inside out cool. So things like sucking on ice, eating ice cream, eating frozen yogurt filled with the kinds of nutrients from fruits and things that can actually help restore the energy of the brain. Because this heat extended periods also messes with the energy of the brain, and we get very drained. So you want to restore that energy.
There you have it. Dr. Leaf says we can eat ice cream, so I'll take that anytime. Hey, when we get hot sometimes, I know there's some people in my family like this, high temps can make us irritable, they can make us anxious. How can we prevent those tough feelings from surfacing on the hot days?
Get in. When you get inside, get in the short periods of time. But once you're inside, do a fun activity that rebuilds the energy of the brain, because a lot of that irritability and that sort of drained feeling is coming from this chemical reaction that's going on inside the brain that affects the energy. So you want to reboost that. And two things that really help, two fun things. First of all is reading. When you read something that's fun and creative and a little bit above your like a fun chapter book that's Lord of the Rings, or something that's going to stimulate your imagination, that actually restores energy in the brain. So what I always recommend, things like go and make some frozen yogurt together, put all the berries and nuts and things, eat the frozen yogurt, and while you're eating the frozen yogurt, read a great book that challenges your imagination. And that'll help restore your balance in your brain and help heal the damage very fast.
Great tips there, keeping a cool head during this summer heat. Dr. Caroline Leaf, thank you so much.